Sanbonani Kuruleni, and welcome to another episode of EkuPodcast. Kamala Mutula Susan Masilela, and I'm sitting here with William Ntladi, our District Manager for Media Liaison for DEMS. How is it, Dr. Ntladi?
Thank you so much. I'm great, and thanks for the opportunity to be with you guys. Truly for sure, my name is William Ntladi from Emergency Services under the Department DEMS.
Would you mind telling the residents of Ekurhuleni about your role at DEMS and what you've been up to within the span of your career, internationally and locally?
Thank you so much. I've been long in the service. To be specific, it's about 34 years now. So I started as a firefighter, and I was appointed here in Germiston prior to the amalgamation of the 9 cities to formulate one great city of Ekurhuleni. So currently I work through all my ranks up until where I am now as a district manager. Within my career as a firefighter, I actually encountered some challenging incidents in and around the country and even abroad. So I remember the earthquakes that we had outside. It was in Algeria, 2003. We flew there to go and assist the guys in Algeria. Then 2010, it was in Haiti, whereby thousands and thousands of lives were lost. And the team of the South African rescue team was dispatched, and I was in that team as well to go and assist the people. And 2011, there was big tsunami and earthquake in Japan, so whereby there was a lot of devastations. Again, because of the temperatures, conditions there were quite unbearable. At some stages, we had temperatures at minus 12 degrees Celsius, so whereby we had to basically even swim inside the water to go and search in all the wreckages, the vehicles that were swept into the sea to go and search for the bodies, do body recovery anyway. So, but we managed to do that as a team. We all came back alive and been proud to say we have assisted as far as we can. And 2013, we went to Philippines for a typhoon as well. So whereby we assisted a lot of people who were displaced. And yes, we had some people who were trapped and we had to assist them. They are still alive even today. I mean, some of them, unfortunately, they lost their lives because of that. So those are the main ones that we had. And thinking about the locally here in South Africa, we know that now in KZN we had floods, and the team was actually sent down there to go and assist as well. But this case, I wasn't part of that. I was only the part of the team that was in Bank of Lisbon in Johannesburg when it caught alight. And Ekurhuleni dispatched their resources, of which is the hydraulic platforms, ambassador. Those are equipments that are of high caliber. So we managed to maintain and even assist in extinguishing that. So, and our arrival there made a big difference. So assisted as well with the airport firefighters and so on. But our main pumps of the day, it was Ekurhuleni's main pumps, of which is a hydraulic high ladder platform, and together with the water tanker. They've been waiting there, and even other resources. We had high volume water transit equipment that can transfer water from the lake direct for a distance of about 10 kilometers. So that tells you is a high volume equipment. So that can actually assist as far as, wherever you need water. As long as you can get enough water from the lake, then your problem is sorted out. So those are the highlights in my career. So in terms of medical as well, we do have that, and we are assisting a lot, but unfortunately now ambulances are not with us anymore. They are now being transferred to province. So then, but we still having the qualifications. So for one maybe to be in this career, one will need to have the basics as an entry level, being able to go through firefighter 1 and 2, of which we've got a training academy within the city of Ekurhuleni, that is the fire station in Boksburg.
Wow.
So they can go there, and even other institutions, higher learning institutions. We're talking University of Johannesburg, TUT, Free State University of Technology, and Durban University of Technology, to mention the few. So for you to be a firefighter, you need to go through that and have a basic qualifications.
Yeah.
And that's why you will be inside a general. We're doing basically the same type of job, whether in Ekurhuleni or anywhere. So we are now having standard qualifications that are internationally recognized, because all the courses that we're offering out for rescue courses and firefighting courses, so they are internationally recognized. So we are registered with INSHRAC, and we becoming a global body for members to be part of that, to be able to go and assist anywhere where they need.
Wow. Ntladi, that sounds like you guys are modern day superheroes.
Yes, definitely. We are proud of that, and I'm proud of that as well.
Wow.
To be part and parcel of the team, more of Ekurhuleni.
Yes.
So the team Ekurhuleni, we're working very well. We're trying our utmost level best. We're making sure that now, as and when we are required, we will be able to respond accordingly, and taking all the necessary safety precautions and all the administrative cautions into consideration, so as now we mustn't leave any stone unturned. So because once you go outside there, you know that now you are putting your life at stake. Anything can happen in a rescue. That's why when we work as a team, you are my body, I am your body. So we help each other as and when it is required. So we come to the scene, whatever I don't see as a danger, then you see it, you alert me. So we all came back alive. So for this entire period, being in a service, I feel so proud and feel that now, I wished even the young ones that are still coming can be so passionate and be able to work and make sure that now the community out there that we are servicing gets the benefits of our life-saving techniques and services that we're offering to them. And they also making sure that now, as and when we retire, they come into these positions, be able to remain focused, and now through all the challenges, because the main thing is one, preserve life.
Yes.
And make sure that now even the properties of the residents are saved.
That's amazing, Ntladi. Ntladi, I hear you saying that we need to raise more awareness to the community about various facets about what you guys do and so forth. Would you like to tell us what is fire awareness and why is it so important?
Okay, great. One has to bring this thing into mind, to say one death is one too many. So our main objective as firefighters, emergency services and disaster management is to preserve the life of the citizens and everybody who's alive, and even not only of people, but even of animals as well. So as long as it's life under general, then even to preserve the properties, when you work hard and you build your home and is getting destroyed by the flames, then it becomes a worrying factor to us as well. So we believe that now our job is a calling. We need to have passion and be able to respond as and when we are required. And those who will be in dire need of our assistance, when they see us, they will see us as angels. So to come and assist them. So that's why we say we're dealing with passion. So now, when we deal with awareness campaigns or trainings, we start with firefighting. So because of, we start now doing the risk assessment, looking at the different communities. We do have informal settlement communities, so of which we know that now when they build their homes, they are using high flammable material like wood, paper, and they are so close together. So that now if one shack, in such a way that now if one shack burns, the entire informal settlement is going to burn. So those are our target audiences. Those are the people that we're looking at to say, once we can go to them and educate them and make them aware. Number one is make them aware on how to construct their homes. So with what material as well. So in case of an emergency or the fire strikes, we're making them aware on how to extinguish the fire so that now we can have minimum damages to that. And again, we're giving them the training and awareness on how to call for emergency services for the intervention of the seasoned firefighters who needs to come over that site. When we talk about the construction, number one, we say in 3 meter apart. So that means make sure that now your home, your shack is 3 meter away from the next one. So that now you can have at least a space, because fire can spread in different ways. Direct contact, close proximity, then that means the heat can be transferred into the next one, the next one, the next one, and the entire informal settlement burned down. So, but now once we give it a gap, a space, so that minimizes the risk of the next shack to be on fire. So then that's what we're teaching them. Then we're going again to the fact that now, in case of an emergency, how do you extinguish the fire? We can talk about different types. We're making them aware, because we all know that now we do have the challenges. What causes the fire in our residential area, whether formal or informal? We're talking there about electricity. Izinyoka. People are connecting. Self-connection, electricity. So who's connecting that? It's not a seasoned technical electrician. It's self-connection. So the risk of fire erupting as a result of that type of connection is quite high. So the next one is we want to warm ourselves during winter time like now. So what is happening, by warming ourselves, we take the braziers, then we bring them inside. We bring the lighting sources. We are talking candles. We bring them inside. We are suffering from load shedding. So we're using alternative sources. Unlike the electricity, we are using candles. We are using as well paraffin lamps. And those are the dangers that are now leading to fires. Paraffin lamps, when the paraffin burns, if it can drop, we always keeping it inside the 2-liter container. That's number one. So, and the smaller kids are always having paraffin poisoning. Why? Because when they look at the bottle, they see a cold drink. So the survival skill of the child is to drink every time. And they grab is to the mouth. When they grab is to the mouth. So when they drink paraffin poisoning, life is at stake. What is going to happen? So once there is a fire, we know paraffins are inside there, then they are going to aggravate the situation. It's a flammable liquid, which when we talk of density and the viscosity of those things, and the reactivity of the chemistry in terms of fire, you can't put water onto the paraffin or petrol or diesel or anything, that because they are not miscible. You cannot mix them up. So that tells you that now the density part of it counts. Water is always heavier than most of the liquids. So that's why water will go down, then the flammable liquid will always come on top and the fire will spread. So we're making them aware of the situations like that. So that's why we say to extinguish that, let's have a 20-liter container of at least sand to put it there, or another 20-liter of at least water. So if each and every household can have 2 containers, one of sand, one of water, in case of any fire that is going to erupt, then at least you've got the resources prior to the arrival of firefighters.
So, mulimate.
Yes, mulimate. then that's exactly that.
So, Ntladi, you were talking about ways of extinguishing fires like mulimates, which is sand and water. Please just tell us what kinds of fires are there and how do we extinguish them?
Okay, thank you so much. Let's start by saying we've got classes of fires. We've got class A, B, C going down. Is a long list of that.
We just know a normal fire that can pry
Yes.
our meat. And so tell us more.
But
about
we say in class A material,
Okay.
we say it's easy to recognize that. Anything that burns and leave ash behind, it falls under class A.
Wow,
Okay, we are talking paper, wood, grass, plastic. When they burn, they leave ash behind. Those things you can use water as an extinguishing agent. So when you assess and you check what is burning, you find that now it's a furniture, it's wood, it's anything that is going to leave ash behind, the grass, the paper, the coal, you know that now this is going to leave ash behind. You can use water to extinguish it. That is class A material. Then we go to class B material. So class B material is the flammable liquids. Flammable liquids including the gases. Because why are we saying including the gases? Gas, when is under compression, it changes the phase from being a gas into liquid. That is why if you can check the LPG, liquid petroleum gas, the normal cylinders that we have, when you can lift it up, shake it, it sounds as if it's water inside,
Yes, it
liquid
does, yeah.
inside.
Yes.
But once you open it up, because of it's under pressure, when you open it up, it wants to escape in the form of it changes the phase. It changes the phase now to be a gas. So that's why it becomes like that. So now they fall under class B material. We can talk. There is no ash that is left behind. When petrol burns, it burns. No ash left behind. When diesel burns, it burns. Oil, all the liquids, paraffin, spirit, alcohol, those things. So when they burn without leaving ash behind. Together with the liquid petroleum gas, we are talking about even the methane gas. The methane gas is always there. I don't want to go deeper into methane gas and even the propane to understand, but they formulate what you call the liquid petroleum gas, LPG. Okay? So when they burn, they give a certain flame which is different from the class A material.
And then now we talk about class B.
Now it's class B. So and they are always inside the containers. That is the way you identify them. They are within the containers. Then once they're inside the containers, that means it's something in the form of liquid. Then once you come and extinguish, you can't use water. Like I said, the density of the two material differs. Water is taken to be a neutral solution. The density is always higher than the others. Then it will always go underneath and be able to spread the fire more than what it was. That's why we encouraging people to say, we tried to extinguish the fire, and when we put water on, it was growing big. When we put water on, it was growing big.
Yeah.
Yes, it's because of the chemistry, the science part of it, not understanding that. But nevertheless, so that's where the problem is, that now we're teaching them that now use a dry chemical powder fire extinguisher. So you'll see it with the blue label. Is a powder inside. Because of we know that now, moreover, as I said, that we're targeting the informal settlements, you'll realize that now most of the guys there, they are not really financially viable
Yes.
to buy such extinguishers and.
So what
But
can they use as an
They
alternative?
are using sand.
Sand.
Yeah, sand
Salt?
to do that.
Does that serve the same purpose?
Yeah, well, salt works, but it's still finance as well.
Oh, yes.
Economical. But when we look of sand, it's everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
Yeah, you can have that and it can assist. We know that now other people will always tell you that now even cold drink like Coke can assist and all that. There are some other vinegars that they use for fire extinguishers. Technology is coming up, the researchers are coming up with more resources in terms of fire to fight the fires. So then that's how to do that. So now, once you dealt with the Class B fires, so you know that now at least what you do is when you extinguish it, you don't throw it direct into the burning liquid. Because once you put everything direct into the burning liquid, it will spit out. Then once it spit out, then it becomes a problem. So there should be a way in which we are teaching them as to how to deal with it. So then that is Class B fires. Now we go to Class C fires. That's when the problem comes. Class C fires is any appliance that has got live electricity. Okay? So that is electricity. So, but we know that now it's made out of a plastic. We know that now it's made out of a burning material that will leave ash behind. But because of the current, the electricity in there, it falls under its own class, then that is Class C fires.
Okay.
So now, once, let's give an example. If a television burns, if a micro oven burns, if a fridge burns, and all, we know that now those things are connected to a power supply. So now, once you put water is a good conductor of electricity. So then people will be electrocuted. So then we don't want that. So it's nyoga, where people are now connecting high voltage electricity into an informal settlement. They're playing basically with a lethal practice. That's a lethal practice. So whereby anything that can happen, there is no circuit breaker to cut off the power supply. And it's also putting us as firefighters at risk to come there and go and deal with shack fires with live electrical wirings network, either on top or even underground. It becomes a challenge.
Yeah, no, it's a big challenge because most households use electricity and gas to keep them warm with the different types of heaters that they use.
Yes.
And then, of course, you did mention with the informal settlements that they use materials like wood and so forth.
Yeah.
So how you mentioned those different fires, the different classes of fires. How do we contain them each individually? So you mentioned one, the wood, the Class A that burns out and leaves ash. How do we deal with that one, and how do we deal with Class B, which is the gases and the liquids?
Yeah.
And
So
the electric circuits. How do we deal with those ones?
yeah. So when we go to Class B fires, okay.
Can we start with Class A maybe?
Okay. Yeah. To deal away with Class A,
Yes.
is simple, straightforward. Is a water.
Yeah.
Use water to extinguish. Pour water on top of the burning material at the base of the flame.
Yes.
Okay, that's the burning material actually. That's the fuel. So you pour water on that and
On
be
the
able
wood
to
itself. Oh,
normal water. Yes, it does that. That's why even fire engines, when we arrive on scene, we're connecting direct hoses to the fire, and we find out what's happening. Then technically, when we arrive there, we want a circuit breaker to switch off the power. So that's the most important thing. Go switch off the power and make sure that now all the wirings in and around the house, they are off completely. So then now, in a normal, right way, how the dwelling or the house has been constructed, with the technicians, electricians that wired the entire house. So we go there, we switch off the power supply. So
The main switch is
the circuit breaker.
Yeah,
yes.
the circuit breaker.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we switch it off so that now to cut away the danger of being electrocuted. Then because of it's a liquid, to deal away with that is always have sand and always have dry chemical powder extinguisher, fire extinguisher. So it's a powder. So that can lie on top of the burning liquid. If not, you can have what you call foam in tsipo. sesepa.
Okay.
Foam. In one of the extinguishers, we do have different types of extinguishers, and one of them of which is foam as well. So that's why even the fire engines, we do have foam containers. We do have foam tenders that now, in case of any big, and the way strategically how Ekurhuleni we operate is, we know that now Al Road, that is where we do have a lot of fuel companies in Al Road. So strategically, the fire station in Al Road, in Alberton, which is the nearest one, that's where now you find a certain equipment that we have, that is foam tender. It is there, it's a tanker. So once we can have a big company with a fuel, a reservoir tank that is burning, we know we do have those resources. And immediately we can intervene and be able to cut off. So that's how to deal with.
So how do I, as Thabo from Benoni, use the foam? Do I go into go pour some liquid liquid?
No, we do have and
create some foam there in the bucket and then pour the foam.
Yeah, no, definitely for just an ordinary somebody, it's quite difficult because of the resources. So the foam is being generated by a certain way. There's a mechanism that we apply for the foam to generate itself.
Okay.
From the foam concentration together with water, then there should be the way in which air will be filtered, will be pushed into the mixture, and then the foam comes out at the end. So that's why the fire engines, they do have that. So, and even the fire extinguishers, they do have that already. Because once you discharge, then the air rushes inside. Then the foam start coming out. Then you can extinguish it. And why are we saying foam? The density again. So the density of foam is lighter than the liquid. So it will always make a blanket on top of that. What makes fire to be fire? Three things. Let's remember that. You've got the fuel, that is something that is burning. You've got the air, of which is oxygen in the atmosphere, 21% plus minus. Then you do have even the heat that is there. So those three, they formulate what you call the triangle of combustion. So once you combine them, those are the basics. Once you combine them together, you'll realize that now they will make fire to be there. Something should be there to burn, that is the fuel. The oxygen is in the atmosphere.
And the temperature.
And the temperature, the heat will be there. Because not everything burns at different materials burns at different temperatures.
Amazing.
One can say the petrol. What is the freezing point of petrol? In order to turn the petrol to be an ice.
You can't.
It's a question. You can.
You can. Zero.
Yeah, but now it's minus 43 degrees. So it's quite huge to get there. That's why petrol, whether we are at 0 degree temperature, petrol still smells. Petrol still evaporates. And what is actually happening is within the petrol part of it, we can talk of petrol, we do have what you call the after as well, the jet fuel. So the reactivity of the jet fuel and the normal petrol is different. So the other one is quite volatile than the other one. The jet fuel is quite volatile, unlike the normal petrol that we put on our vehicles. So those are the chemistries that you need to know as to how to deal with them. So, and the reactivity of them. But foam is a general extinguishing agent that we are using.
So that's for Class B, ne?
For the Class B, yes.
So Class C is the electricity, and how do we deal with it?
We don't need water, number one.
What do we
water is a good conductor of electricity. People will be electrocuted and they might lose life. So then that's where now you use even the powder, okay? The powder extinguisher, the dry chemical powder extinguisher, then you can put it on top. Then you can, but the most important thing, what we need is cut off the danger.
Cut off
the supply.
The main switch.
Yes. I mean, we can mention that now in the past week, we had a substation that burned in Kwatema. That is the entire part of Kwatema. They don't have electricity as we speak. So the reason is, when we arrived there, it was well alight. but you can't put anybody at risk because that is high voltage electricity. You're talking 2,300 voltage per cable or whatever. So that's high voltage electricity. So we just have to wait for the technicians and safety officer who works in the substation and to give a go-ahead before we start now extinguishing with water. Because remember, once the power is off, then what is burning is something that can leave ash. It's a plastic, it is wood, it is whatever. But the power, the current is not there anymore. So you can use water. But for a normal person, prior the arrival of any technician, any electrician to give a go-ahead, wait first up until they say the power is off. And you know that now, surely for sure the scene is safe, you can extinguish the fire. So that is that for electricity. You can use whatever. Then when you look at that, the causes of the fire, there is this thing that we call spontaneous ignition. The fourth element of how the fire can start. Without anybody putting fire on, without doing anything, then abantu abaningi bathi sengishaye ngevutha. Then that is not there. It is because of a chemical reaction. So the chemicals, when you put them together, they react and they burn. I'll give an example. From the science point of view, you put potassium permanganate here, you mix it with glycerin. See what is happening. The reactivity is quite volatile. So no heat that you put physically match, that you light, nothing. So it's just that now the chemical, this one and that one, you put them together in one space, then it becomes that thing becomes very volatile.
So what household chemicals should we keep separate then?
Housekeeping. That's why we're talking of housekeeping. Put them where? In the right place. So the toilet detergents, the cleaning detergents, put them one side. Then the other chemicals, put them one side. Never put everything together in one because you don't know the reactivity of those chemicals when they are together. So if you put them together in one container, so that might cause a problem. We can talk about the grass fires that is coming now. So what causes the grass to burn sometimes? We know that now people sometimes, they put the lit cigarette butt out, moreover the motorist and everybody just throw out. Then all of a sudden we do have a big grass fire that is causing, obscuring the vision of the motorists next to the freeways and all that. We had a stampede, people are dying because of that. But sometimes it's a chemical reaction. The glass bottles that we throw in there, what's happening, they take the sun rays, they concave them to one point, and the grass underneath is dry. So those glasses, then they create the heat, then the atmosphere's got the oxygen, and the grass is dry, is the fuel. You've got three elements of combustion.
Sounds like what we used to do in primary school with the magnifying glass.
Excellent. That is exactly that.
Okay.
That magnifying glass, that is exactly what causes the fires. So you find that now the fire starts in no man's land. Then, but when you go and check, you find that now there are glasses there around. So they pull those sun rays, then concave them, put them as a magnifying glass to a point, temperature rises, then reaching the ignition point, then you've got the grass, you've got the oxygen in the atmosphere. The three elements of combustion, then the fire starts.
Wow, that's very educative, Ntladi.
No, true. It is.
You've mentioned a lot about safety tips of how to keep safe in the informal settlements and also when using electricity. How often should fire drills be conducted at work and in residential areas?
Okay. What is actually legislated is moreover on the work environment, in the employment areas. So, of which safety comes as a priority. We need to understand that fire drill is to make everyone aware that now we need to be safe in terms of the fire and practice the evacuation drills very often. However, what is legislated is including the officials, the firefighters, the safety officers from fire and emergency services, at least once a year. You need to have the officials come into your work environment and plan that and make sure that now everyone is aware of that situation. And we don't have to make people sort of aware that now today we are going to conduct a drill. It must be a thing that happens automatically, because on a certain time interval within the company itself, people need to understand that now fire can strike at any time, emergency can strike at any time. So they need to be versatile. They need to be ready for each and everything. So people need to say, when we say let's evacuate, there is a fire or there is a bell, then we put the bell on, everybody needs to move and put that. So you can do that as often as you can, as long as it doesn't interfere with your work environment and production and all that. But at least within 12 months' time, that must be done with the officials. So when you do,
How many times within the 12 months?
how many times depending on the company itself.
Okay.
So as to how the safety officers within the company wants to practice this, and also it goes with the risk assessment of the particular company. That to say now we are in a very high risk area. We need to keep everyone aware of the situation time and again to refresh. But now for emergency services officials to be there and all other stakeholders, we are talking even the law enforcement unit, they're part of that, to come and be part of that particular company when they do an escape plan, risk assessment escape plan. So we need to do that. And now, at least once a year. Then when you go to a residential area, it's not about legislation here. It's about as well the norms of the people. We do have different categories of residents. We do have flats, we do have single dwellings, we do have crèches, whereby you've got kids and all that. So you can't say do it once. As well, go very often. Go very often so that now the small kids can know that now when there is fire, this is what we're doing. When there is an emergency, this is what we are doing. And once we deal with that, we start now looking as to what is happening. Because even with us emergency operational firefighters don't know that a certain company is going to have a drill on the day. Because we want to check the reaction time of these firefighters. Only an officer who's doing the assessment with that particular company will be the one knowing. Our call center will not know. So that once we phone, we say there is an emergency, the call center operators mustn't take it for granted. We don't want them to take it for granted. It's a serious thing. Life is at stake here. So they need to react quickly as it is an incident and dispatch firefighters who don't know whether it's a drill or not, all the resources that need to respond to a company or to an area, they need to respond as if that is the honest truth. They will only get to the scene and start getting to say, no, okay, but this is a drill. But we could see the reaction time and all the stakeholders, necessary stakeholders are on scene, and we know that now actually we are ready. And if ever there is the way in which we're going to make fire there or give them and say there is a fire there, we want to see them how they fight the fire, how they connect the hoses and how they do the fire suppression operations on scene. So that's exactly what we are looking at every time.
Wow. So who do we contact? What are the contact details? And there's a fire, my next door neighbor his house is on fire.
That is a burning issue.
Yeah.
That is a burning issue because many people don't really take that into consideration. We know that now when the emergency is not with you, you will always tend to lapse, to relax.
Yes.
But when the emergency strikes, you will be too late to know your local emergency numbers.
Absolutely.
You will be a second too late
Yeah.
to know the emergency call center number. So you'll realize that now as PA, as emergency services, we're teaching people how to call for emergency services. You might take it very light. Number one, the number. What is the number?
Yes.
Within the city of Ekurhuleni, we've got a call center number, a life-threatening call center number, of which is 011-458-0911.
Just repeat that, sir.
Okay, is 011 is a code,
Yes.
then 458-0911. So 0911, one will always remember the 911 in America.
Yes.
Okay, so it's easy to remember the 4 digits.
Yeah.
And the code, we all know we are in Gauteng.
Yes.
Just remember the 458. That's it. 458
0911
0911
458
is 0911.
11. Okay.
So that is the number. So that is a life-threatening emergency number. So that now, once it gets to the call center, they will ask you a question, your name, so that now we can know who's calling. We do have prank calls, okay? But who's calling? And your contact details. For in case there is a shutdown in communication, immediately give them your name and your contact details. Then you can talk. Then we know that now if there is a technical error in between, we can phone you back and be able to say, you were phoning telling us about something. Then we can get hold of you and talk, continue giving the information. So, number 2, why are you looking for assistance? Which assistance is that? Is this emergency services? Is it fire? Is it metropolis related, crime related sin, or whatever? Then call center will be able to tell. They will ask you, why are you looking for our assistance? If you report there are shacks on fire, there is a house on fire, there is a vehicle on fire, there is this and that on fire, they know that now they will have to concentrate on fire and emergency services. Number 3 is the address where you need the service to be rendered. So you need to know where you are. The emergency can strike. So even if when you drive, get to know that now you are driving on Van Buren Road. Get to know that now you are driving on N3. Get to know that now you are driving on Angus Road, Victoria Road, Mayor Street, whatever. You know that. So as now, once you need a fire engine to come and assist you, you give them the address. So that now they can come direct to the spot where the actual incident is. That's what we're teaching people as well. So then once that is done, then we know that now the address is there, the fire engine will be there without any waste of time. Then the challenges are there every time. Many people, you find that now they're phoning out of area. I can mention that now parents are not at home, kids are at home, there is a fire, they will phone the parents. The parents are in Durban, the parents are in Cape Town. The parents will phone and say, we need a fire, and a fire engine to come and assist. Then we say, where are you? Then I'm in Margate. No, we don't need Margate. We need the address where the actual fire is. So then it takes away the confusion between the caller and the receiver of the call, so that now we can know exactly what is happening.
Ntladi, you've been our visit, because we're visiting you at the Germiston Fire Station. So thank you for allowing us to visit you in your workplace and giving us all the information. Very insightful, very important information. It will potentially save lives. Thank you for welcoming us here. And the residents hopefully use all the information that you've relayed to us. Would you like to add something? Maybe repeat the contact details to the residents?
True. I think that is quite important. How to call us is on 011 458 0911. So that number will take you straight to the call center. Emergency services, spot on, will be there.
Thank you so much, Mr. William Ntladi.
I really appreciate that. Thanks for the listeners and the viewers as well. Let's work together.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us on our EkuPodcast, and we'll see you next time. Remember to follow us on all our digital platforms, and remember the emergency number is 011 458 0911. And also remember to follow us on all our digital platforms and the official website, that is ekurhuleni.gov.za. We'll see you soon.